Ms. Monaco, since you've been at the Justice Department, things have changed a little. They certainly have changed in terms of the threats to the United States. If you take a look at the course of American history, the Ku Klux Klan seems to appear and reappear about every 50 years. 1865, the early 1910, 15, then again in the 50s, and here they come again in a different form with different names, but the same basic agenda. Christopher Gray from the FBI testified the other day that he believed, as I do, that this is a serious threat. As much as we need to concentrate on what's happening across the ocean in America today, if we want security in our neighborhoods and towns, we need to concentrate what's happening across the street. The Department of Justice plays a critical role in that regard. Would you comment on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're quite right. The Department of Justice's responsibility and mission to protect the American people and to do so consistent with the rule of law is true whether the threats are foreign or domestic. And as Director Wray has, I think, observed before this committee very recently, unfortunately and concerningly, the domestic terrorism threat is one that is metastasizing across the country. I served, as has been noted, through a series of inflection points for the Department of Justice, including after 9/11. And the time then and since, in working with law enforcement at the federal, state, and local level, with the intelligence community, with the career men and women in the department, I recognize that the first thing you need to do is understand the nature of the evolving threat. I think that is critically important, even as we deploy all the resources that we can to address and hold accountable those responsible for the horrible attack that happened here on January 6th. If I'm confirmed, Mr. Chairman, it will be my responsibility with all of the components with direct responsibility to protect the American people, the FBI and others, reporting directly to me. It'll be my focus to immediately get briefed on that investigation, but more broadly, to understand what is it that brought us to this point where we could have such an attack that I personally never thought I would see in my lifetime. What is it that is mobilizing people to violence? And how can we deploy all of the tools and the resources of the Department of Justice to make sure it never happens again?
Thank you. Ms. Gupta, two softballs. Do you support defunding the police? And would you like to say a few words about Senator Grassley's concern with your tweets?
Thank you, Chairman Durbin. I do not support defunding the police. I have, in fact, spent my career advocating where it's been necessary for greater resources for law enforcement in things like body-worn cameras, officer wellness and safety programs, and any number of measures. I believe that is why I today enjoy the honor of having so much law enforcement support. It would be with a great honor for me to return to the Justice Department precisely to continue to roll up my sleeves and work hand in glove and understand the current needs of law enforcement and some of the most challenging times that are presented for frontline responders. I have indeed, Senator, talked about something that I hear reflected from police officers and police chiefs, sheriffs, and civil rights activists about the fact that for too long we have placed almost all or so many of our nation's social problems at the feet of police. From everything from homelessness to mental health issues to substance use disorder. And when we speak about this, we speak about the fact that law enforcement has been dealt this burden of having to deal with all of these problems and the need for greater investment in mental health services, in community-based drug treatment programs. And so when I've spoken about investments, it has been really about something that I've heard and I've talked to at length for years, long before George Floyd was killed, with law enforcement, about the need to provide them supports and to not have them be the only go-to response, holding the burden of all of these issues. And I will continue, if confirmed as Associate Attorney General, to listen to the voices of law enforcement, to continue to advocate for their resources so they can do everything they need to do to keep our communities safe and to have the trust of the communities that they serve. On the tweets, Chairman, and I appreciate you giving me this opportunity, and I should say to Ranking Member Grassley and to the other members who I understand have these concerns, I understand why you have them. I take them seriously. I regret the harsh rhetoric that I have used at times in the last several years. Perhaps I think the rhetoric has gotten quite harsh over the last several years, and I have fallen prey to it, and I wish I could take it back. I can't. But what I can commit to you and ask that you do is look at my lifelong record. I have, from the early on in my career, sought out people who don't always think like me, people who have very different views, because I believe in the importance of building consensus to get things done. While I've been a lifelong idealistic civil rights lawyer, I am a deeply pragmatic person. I'm a relationship builder. I think that's why I have the trust of law enforcement today on some of the most difficult problems that we face. And I understand that the position of Associate Attorney General is a law enforcement position. It has to be strictly nonpartisan in every measure. I must represent the full equities of the American people and enforce the federal laws and Constitution free from any kind of partisan influence. I've done it before. I did it when I was at the Civil Rights Division. I've been in the Justice Department before. And I can pledge to you today that if I am confirmed, or regardless, you won't be hearing that kind of rhetoric from me. And I will look forward to working collaboratively to continuing to support the leadership of people like Ranking Member Grassley, Senator Lee on criminal justice reform measures, and other members, Senator Cornyn and others, who I've had the privilege of helping to support these bipartisan bills to get things done for the American people.
Thank you.